Mining Weekly Online is talking to Graham Herbert, the CEO of Thabo. Thabo Limited, the company that really is heavily involved in the recruitment of mine workers. But a new task is being set for Thabo, and that is to find something like 200,000 ex-mine workers who can benefit from funding of about 5 billion rand owed to them. Graham, can you tell us what progress you've made now in tracking down these missing ex-mine workers and what strategy you are employing in this?
Yes, Martin, thank you. Since we last spoke in the last month, Thabo has been involved in quite a comprehensive radio campaign in the Eastern Cape, primarily targeting beneficiaries of the Mines 1970s Fund, but understanding prior to the radio campaign that anybody could arrive. And the response to that has been great. It's been overwhelming. In fact, we've received about 4,000 requests in the last 4 weeks.
And what if people come in on behalf of others who are deceased? Are you still confident that you're going to be able to get this money into the communities?
We're reasonably confident, Martin, especially if these are claims with regard to the mining industry. And we are able to compare these requests against the databases that we hold and to be able to validate the legitimacy of these claims.
And so what happens now when people come forward and say, yes, we haven't received our provident fund yet, or we haven't been compensated for occupational disease? How do you go about helping them?
Well, in addition to the radio campaign, we, with the help of other stakeholders in the mining industry, have aligned our back office and created a call center in Johannesburg and also aligned some of our databases. So when a person walks into any one of our 15 offices in the Eastern Cape, we're able online to make checks against the person's ID and other identifying fields of information to see whether they owed money by any other funds.
And why are you starting in the Eastern Cape? And what about all the other areas where people are, 200,000 people we're talking about, owed 5 billion rand? They scattered across southern Africa. Why are you starting in Eastern Cape?
Well, first of all, the Eastern Cape is a very dense labour-sending area and has historically sourced many mine workers. At present, in the entire industry, we estimate that there are probably 3 times more unemployed mine workers, ex-mine workers, than there are current mine workers. And our data shows us where, roughly speaking, according to magisterial districts, these ex-employees live. And it was for that reason that we chose the Eastern Cape. We also like to pilot things. There's a lot of expectation being created through this initiative, and we want to, as far as possible, meet that expectation and not create additional frustration amongst those within those communities.
Mining Weekly Online also took the opportunity of speaking to Thabo Ghumbe of Thabo, also on this issue of trying to make sure that ex-mine workers who are owed money for provident fund, occupational disease and other issues receive this 5 billion rand estimated that is owed to them. So Thabo, why has it taken Thabo so long to reach out to these ex-mine workers who are still owed money from their provident funds and from other funds that are due to them?
Martin, for us the important thing up to this point has been to make sure that all our stakeholders' interests, as well as all the parties that are necessary to make this a possibility, are aligned in their thinking as well as their approach. So it has taken that long, but we do believe that from this point onwards we should be able to make a serious dent on these outstanding backlog claims.
And also you seem to be creating a demand. People are coming to you rather than just having a supply sitting up in Joburg or wherever you keep the money and saying to people, well, you should know it's there. You're reaching out to them now.
We're reaching out to people. It's a significant change in mindset as well as approach compared to methods that have been employed previously. Whereas previously Thabo would typically rely on the fund to supply X number of cases that Thabo would then send out its resources in communities to trace. We came to realize that the time as well as the effort, as well as the investment that has to go towards that approach is not going to deliver the necessary results, given the agency, especially I think in recent times, of addressing such issues. So we believe that by changing the approach, creating the demand, going onto the media, the radio campaign that Graham alluded to earlier on, that way you could draw the masses in and then use the databases as well as the resources that Thabo has to verify people, as well as to give them access to the funds that they typically wouldn't be able to access remotely.
And who are these stakeholders that are now aligned?
Yeah. The stakeholders that are aligned, we're working very closely with the Chamber on creating a broader, bigger impact and addressing this particular issue. Although at the same time we're working with the fund, with one of the funds within the industry to run the pilot. The Chamber, for instance, through Mr. Baxter, is quite well involved, very well aware in terms of the requirements and the necessity perhaps of addressing this issue. So it's the Chamber. We're also working very closely with other data suppliers, third-party data suppliers, that will enable us to enrich our own databases to make sure that we put effort to where it's really required.
Now, no fund is going to give away money unless that paperwork is also aligned.
Yeah, that's true.
And that must be a difficult situation. People have possibly passed away. How do you actually make sure the paperwork is correct?
Martin, it need not be. Okay, that need not be the case. However, Thabo, through the years of involvement with the funds, as well as through the years of involvement with the communities, we understand the shortfalls, okay? And that's the reason why through our walk-in centers, the Thabo centers that are spread out throughout the country, we have people that understand these shortcomings within the communities and can help individuals either complete the forms, either to better articulate the requirements from the funds, as well as if it's an ID that needs to be certified, people need to know that particular process. If it's a death certificate that needs to be submitted, people need to know that particular process. But I think more importantly, through our resources, we are able to support people, give them that information, make sure that ultimately they know which sources they should be able to be in contact with to provide that documentation.
And are you quite confident that you will make a significant dent? We're talking about 200,000 people.
Yeah. Martin, we're very confident. We believe that significant dent can seriously be achieved over the next 3 years. It will take some serious commitment, like I said earlier on. That stakeholder alignment in reasoning and thinking, as well as in objective, is very important. But it can be achieved over the next 3 years. We believe we can come out with a result that will achieve a significant socio-economic upliftment of the communities. Yeah.
That was Thabo Ghumbe talking to Mining Weekly Online about finding 200,000 ex-mine workers who are owed something like 5 billion rand.